Get in.
Yes!
Get him up out Welcome home run in a 10th inning. Let's go, throw your hats up. Look at what Pinky got it. They double team it, Trey. Give it to Dre. Give it to DeJounte. Pass it over to Bogey. Bogey driving. Give it to Dre. Give it to Trey. Shoot the three. Bang! Let's go, man. Stop playing. He did not put Ritter in.
I'm done. Oh, this mother just put Ritter in? For what? Why would you put Ritter in right now? He know his job is done.
There's nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.
Oh
Let's go. Go, Dogs. Go, Dogs. Go, Dogs. Sickle.
Now you're going to make me chomp. Now you're going to make me chomp.
We ain't gonna tiptoe around the issues.
Remember, we don't do woulda, shoulda, coulda, what up in here.
Barbecue and mildew time. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing? Welcome on this Victory Tuesday as the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to do this Falcons in review. My name is Larry. I'm half of the Dixon Way. My beautiful wife, Shonda, is the other half. And we provide you guys with live commentary on all our favorite sports scenes, from them Braves, them Hawks, them Dirty Birds, the Dream, the Georgia Bulldogs. Looking forward to this. Sugar Bowl. And my wife, Gators. We appreciate every last one of you guys coming through. This is the Falcon in Review, as the Atlanta Falcons win again on prime time versus the Los Angeles Rams, who were in a dogfight with the Seattle and the Bears, it being a possible, and San Francisco it being a top seed in the NFC. Those dreams have been dashed by the mighty Falcons. We almost sold the game, but hey, a win is a win is a win. Kirk took us down the field. Really Bijan, but we'll get more to that. But huge upset, not only for us as a Falcon team, but a huge upset that had ripples in the playoffs. Right now, San Francisco, I think they play Seattle next, and if they win the division plus home field throughout. So the Super Bowl is in Levi Stadium. So this is a huge chance for them to go have a road to the Super Bowl in their home spot the entire time. All right. So yeah, Falcons overall played a great defensive game. Great defensive game. If it wasn't for a blocked field goal, special teams, if it wasn't for a blocked field goal, we win that without even thinking about having to drive down and kick a field goal, you know? That turnover, special teams blunder almost cost us the game. But yeah, without that, we still win by 7. So yeah. Oh, Super Bowl's on your birthday? Okay. Awesome. What's up, Mr. Green? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Daniel Berry, welcome to the stream. I see you. BB. Appreciate y'all coming through. It's funny today in the the Falcons fandom right now. Because a lot of people are happy with the win and a lot of people are mad at the win. A lot of people feel like this win catapulted Raheem Morris to keeping his job, Zach Robinson keeping his job. I personally think that their job was never in danger. I think the whole thing for an independent firm to evaluate the team is code for, please don't make me fire another coach earlier than I want to. Because, I mean, you really didn't need an independent firm to come out and evaluate this team if you got two eyes and half a brain. I don't need to waste millions of dollars or however much it costs for this independent firm to evaluate this roster and this and the GM or whatever. I don't need an independent firm to do all of that. But that was what was going on. Falcons have a chance to end the season on a win streak, 5-game win streak, on a 4-game run right now. And I saw a lot of people saying, hey, you're winning games when it don't mean nothing now. All you're doing is ruining your draft picks. In a way, that is true. That's not a lie. But I think the Falcons at this point, especially since it's leaning to they're not going to get rid of the coach, need to build up some winning, you know. Now, mind you, if you keep Raheem Morris, you best believe that he's not going to play his players in the preseason. It's highly unlikely that Zach Robinson will be moved now. And to me, it's highly unlikely that Kirk Cousins is let go. It's highly likely that Kirk Cousins is returning. T. Terry, what's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome back to the stream. I see you. I saw it during the stream last night. People said Michael Penix ruined our season. Then others, in the stream jumped on that person, was like, no, Zach Robinson did. Or Raheem for not replacing Zach Robinson. Yeah. Now there is a big difference. Coach, yeah, let's show mama. There's a big difference in play style and coaching style between Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins. We all see it. Kirk Cousins plays on the center, rarely in the pistol. Unfortunately, when it's third down, we're in the shotgun or the pistol. Those plays usually go awry. Same play caller. I feel like Kirk has more say-so on what the game plan to be. And you do have to ask yourself, can Michael Penix actually play on the center? But we're doing it so much. It's not just a gimmick that we're pulling out just to appease Kirk Cousins. Our offensive game plan has been built around playing under center, working in play action. naked boots, the misdirection like that. So yeah, those questions have to be asked, and it's fair. If you didn't feel like he could do it, then where does the coaching come into? We're like, hey man, we need to be able to open up the rest of our playbook because this ain't it. Well, of course, the organization is not going to throw their young quarterback under the bus. But when you see a dynamic difference between play call and stuff like that, questions will be asked or should be asked. To the actual game. That's all I want to pull up the box scores. We really didn't talk about much of the game except for we were happy that we won. Yeah. And the thing is, man, Kirk Cousins really didn't wow anyone last night. I mean, I'm not going to say he had a Ritter game, but I'm going to say he had a Ritter game. He had 126 yards, 13 for 20. So very accurate, but really didn't go nowhere. I mean, it wasn't like he carried us. I mean, I think we all know who carried us. It was number 7, Bijan Robinson. 22 carries, 195 yards worth. Now I did see a video of Adrian Peterson, the Hall of Famer, basically out of Minnesota, basically saying he felt some kind of way about the Falcons not allowing him to try to get 200 yards rushing. There's a milestone, running backs want to have in their back pocket. Those are the type of things that, when they're reading your Hall of Fame stats, those games will be, mentioned. I get it, but Bijan is not a selfish player like that. He wasn't even thinking about it after the game when they interviewed him. Humble kid, and gave all the praise to God and his offensive line in that interview. I went back and looked at it. Yeah, that guy right there, man. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand why Terry drafted him when we had Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is a starting running back in the NFL and a dang on good one. But it's just a difference, man. And we literally got the situation just like the Chargers had. We have a bona fide starting running back in Tyler Algier, but we got a generational talent in Bijan Robinson, just like LaDainian Tomlinson was with the Chargers and how Michael Turner was with the Chargers. Both were starters, and they were on the same team, but one star is going to shine more. And Tyler Algier, 10 carries for 23 yards. He basically used for short yardage. And then the last 3 plays to straighten out the field goal kick, make sure the kick was where the kicker wanted and not fumble. Because he's never fumbled. Tyler Algier has never fumbled. So, in his career. So I think it's over like 800 carries, and he's never fumbled once. So that's why they brought him in, sure-handed and stuff like that. So Adrian Peterson, calm down. Bijan wasn't worried about it. Didn't care. Larry, go to mama, please. I know. Go to mama. Be careful, son. So, yeah, we just got one of the best running backs of this generation. Could be one of the best running backs, knock on wood, that we ever see. And he's just writing this story, and we lucky enough to see it right now. But yeah, Kirk Cousins really didn't do nothing, man. He didn't turn the ball over. And I think that's what you could say. I heard people on the radio saying that he outplayed Stafford. No, he just didn't make a mistake. He just didn't make a mistake. That's all. And a lot of times, that's the difference between winning and losing. Because you look at the Falcons, we got 3 interceptions. Shout out to Xavier Watts. Second in interceptions by safeties. I think the safety, someone told me in the chat, the safety of the Bears is the number 1 safety in interceptions at 6. Xavier Watts got 5, 2 last night. Can somebody please call the NFL and say, hey, can we get this kid in the Pro Bowl? Because that's the type of numbers we got. And I think we need to just go ahead and stop talking about what pick we're going to give to the Rams.
Welcome to the family, shorty.
Got a new family member. Luis Rodriguez. How you doing, man? Appreciate that. Welcome to the Dixon Way family. I see you. I know that the Falcons would never, if the Rams said, we will give you your number 1 pick back for this draft, give us James Pierce and Xavier Watts. Because that's what happened, guys. That's what those 2 picks turned into. That's what the trade turned into. So, are you giving James Pierce Jr. and Xavier Watts for that pick back? Heck no.
To the no, no.
You're not giving up James Pierce Jr. and Xavier Watt to the Rams to get our pick back. No. So why would you care about it? I don't. I don't think anyone should, as a Falcon fan. Which leads me to Terry Fontenot. Normally, you want to hit on 1, maybe 2 picks, and the other be projects. But you got to get definite starters with your first round pick. And especially if you go back and trade a future pick to reach back in the late round of the first round. Now, mind you, Jalen Walker has been out a lot, and that does worry me. But his production when he's in is magnificent. So, even though he's not a pure pass rusher, he has 5 sacks on the season. And definitely good, very good against the run. So I think they hit on all 3 of their picks, their early round picks in this draft. We were set to try to rebuild this defense, and we definitely got the building blocks for a great young defense drafted this year. John Brooks, what's up, fam? John Brooks, man, I was talking about it earlier, man. Welcome back to the stream. Me, I'm of the thought that I don't think that Raheem or Zach is going anywhere. I think the only one that gets fired is our special teams coach. I think that blocked field goal kind of did it. Now, mind you, guys, where that block came from was Elijah Wilkinson. So, who had 2 holding penalties again, drive crushing penalties. But we did not give up a sack last night. So kudos to the offensive line. Whenever you run that much, a running back have that much, you have to give them props. You know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like Bijan made a whole bunch of people miss to get those yards, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give up a sack, and they pretty much had a 200-yard rusher. So kudos to the offensive line, especially playing against a playoff team. Kudos. Yeah, nobody really stood out on the passing game. Again, we only threw for 126 yards. So we were just there to try to move the chains and don't make a mistake to lose the game. Now, we was up 21 points. And at that blocked field goal, things look like, uh-oh. But I think we got a real kicker in Zane Gonzalez. And we put it away like we should. Defense stood up. Now, I will say this. They ran a play and Matthew Stafford missed a man who was wide open. We got kind of fortunate on that. But after that, we locked in. So, yeah. Special teams is just a problem. I'm figuring that'll be the first move we make. And I also think that's going to be the only move we make, coaching-wise. Did I see Rich McKay with Mr. Blank and Terry? Yeah, I saw him up in the booth. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it, T. Terry. You ain't seen Greg Beatles, have you? I haven't. I think Greg Beatles was just a face to try to say, hey, look, it's not Rich anymore. It's Greg Beatles. And we only saw Greg Beatles in the introduction, like, press conference with Raheem Morris. He was the first to introduce, and then Terry and Raheem, talk with each other. But yeah, kind of lead me to like the rumors about Matt Ryan joining our organization in a prominent role. I see someone last night was saying, I wouldn't mind him being an assistant GM. I don't think Matt Ryan leaves his TV job to be an assistant GM, to be under Terry Fontenot. I don't think so. If Matt Ryan came back to the organization, I think he would be in the Greg Beatles position, but he would actually have some say-so instead of just being a mouthpiece, or really ain't even been a mouthpiece because you rarely hear about anything from Greg Beatles. So, yeah. I know a lot of people are split on that also. Like, should Matt even do this? What does he know about building a team? The other people are excited. Yes. Matt, I look at it like this. I didn't think that Raheem was going to get fired before Matt Ryan got here. And since Matt Ryan was coached by Raheem before, I don't think Matt would fire Raheem. he got skin equity in that coach. So now Zach Robinson might, you know, he might be up out of here. But yeah. So I'm not really against it at all. If he's going to take Greg Beadle's job, okay. We just don't make this a publicity stunt and not him really do anything, you know? Kind of like how they did Dominique before. You know, he's an ambassador and stuff like that, but he really, I don't know if he even make any decisions on the basketball side with the Hawks. So Monte Carlo about that miss on the Stafford throw. I've been telling people it happens when they bash Penix. Yeah, they miss throws. Yeah. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. And Matthew Stafford, I mean, right now, he's probably the cream of the crop out of quarterbacks in the NFL. Long in the tooth, but still up there as a quality quarterback and MVP candidate. You know, so if a player his greatness, future Hall of Famer, can miss throws like that wide open, then got to give our second year guy some grace. But again, Michael Penix and his development is a totally different story. And we don't even know how that's going to happen. Monte Carlo also says Matt input on the football semantics would be key because he's done it on the field and knows the ins and outs in that aspect. Okay, I got you. I feel you on that. Would you bring in Matt, and would he be the one vetting people like for a new offense coordinator, stuff like that? Could be. It could be a myriad thing, man. I am interested about it. But for me, I personally want a new president and CEO of the Falcons. I don't know. And if they feel like they need a new coach, new GM, then so be it. Let them build it in their image. Mr. Blank, take a step back. Hire someone you trust to build the organization up from, with their vision without trying to oversee the process. Yeah. King Richie, what up, fam? Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, I ain't give a sound to Monte Carlo either. So that's your sound of YouTube, John Brooks. Matt Ryan about to help Zach Robinson with his playbook. No. I think Matt could probably be more critical on asking questions while we doing this in third. Do you need anything else to facilitate this offense being in your vision? Do you know how to coach up Michael Penix? This, that, and the third. If you can't, then you say you made this playbook to fit around him. And if you don't feel like he can run anything out of center, why aren't we doing those things in preseason and in training camp? Why aren't we trying to acclimate him when it doesn't count? When it ain't kept on the scoreboard and in the standings, Instead of sitting them saying we good, while we running heavy under center stuff for Michael Penix during the preseason. That would have been the time to do it, the time to evaluate. Perfect time, actually. But hey, what do I know? Yeah. But I'm intrigued by Matt Ryan's inclusion to this organization, back into the organization. He really never left because we see Matt up there with the ice cubes all the time. I think there's a stat that I heard on Domino and Nick Shalini's show. They said like the Falcons are like 12-4 in meaningless games. That's a crazy stat that we turn up when we eliminated from the playoffs. That's kind of a crazy stat, right? Like in games that we need to have and pressure and stuff like that, not so good. But once, you know what I'm saying, the season pretty much over, we turn up then. You know, I'm not going to be hard on that because I feel like when you're an organization that hasn't won and made it to the playoffs over 8 years, I don't think you can poo-poo on any win, personally. Especially when you're changing coaches like you're changing socks. I don't think you can poo-poo anything. I mean, Jake Matthews has seen a lot of coaches. It ain't like the Steelers with, only had 3 head coaches in their franchise history. And that's one of the founding fathers, type of organizations. So, yeah, I don't like the quality win or useless win or something like that, especially when you've been losing. Now we end up mid again, which that's what's trending. And we got a lot of people saying, hey, if we only beat the Jets and we only beat one of the Carolina games and don't get embarrassed by the Dolphins, then we're a playoff team. No, we're exactly where we're at. Okay? The Buffalo Bills and the Rams is the most impressive win of the season. That's the most impressive win. Buffalo Bills is the second and most impressive win of the season. Those are the type of wins that question. That's where people say, hey, we could have been this. Look what we did against legit playoff teams. But then you go back and see what we did against the Dolphins. I'm not going to say the Panthers because the Panthers are tied for the division. So, or excuse me, they lead the division. So, after being the worst team in this, or the second worst team, no, worse. They were worse than the Saints last year. And now, so there we go. Oh, hold on, Furball. What's going on? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. I see you. Appreciate you coming through. I'm going to get to that. Oh no, I lost my train of thought because Furball on Twitch brought up a question that I was about to go in next. Ah, dang it. I'll put a pin in that, and hopefully I remember my train of thought. But I really want to get to this. Matt Ryan about to help Zach. That's right. We were talking about Zach Robinson, and yeah, going talking about Zach Robinson, Matt Ryan could help them and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I was talking about our wins and losses. We are who we are, man. Not Bill Belichick, but Bill Parcells said it best. You are what your record is, and I believe in that philosophy. You are what your record is. No more, no less. When you play bad against bad teams, you play down your competition. No attention to detail, maybe injuries, maybe a little bit of both. We know Divine Diablo and the presence he's had in the middle linebacker since he's been back. Kate Ellis can go back to weak side linebacker where he's more suited and booted to play better. The maturation of JPJ, Jalen Walker when he's healthy, and Xavier Watts have definitely been a blessing on defense. We know this whole offense is Bijan and Drake. We know our offensive coordinator for the first quarter of the season didn't really believe it, or would have mental lapses like Bijan isn't one of the best players in the league. And you're trying to put the whole game plan on the shoulders of a young quarterback who only had 4 starts last season and no starts in the preseason. I put that squarely on coaching. And I'm going to pull up this. Man, Furball 2 on Twitch. Appreciate you coming through, says.
Furball 2 says. So now we're gonna have QB conversation with Penix or Kirk, and obviously Kirk doing better than Penix.
I don't think 126 yards is doing better than anybody except for Ritter and Mariota. What he didn't do is throw an interception, which he already surpassed Michael Penix, who played more games this season. Yes, played more season, but had less interceptions than Kirk Cousins. So, no, I don't believe that at all. I believe that you have a veteran quarterback that is going to get you in and out of plays. He has a particular style, and he's able to help devise up what he likes more. And he's not just going to let you keep him in a pistol the entire game. Now, could that be because Michael Penix really don't feel comfortable except for anything but the pistol? I could say yes, and it makes me wonder, especially how much we run under center now. And we have our quarterback under center, but I just feel like that's more to accommodate one of the best play action quarterbacks of this generation in Kirk Cousins. That's what he does. But we didn't see that when it was a Dolphins game. We still had Kirk Cousins in a shotgun or pistol 98% of the time in the game. So I don't believe that was all Michael Penix. Personally, I think it was Zach Robinson trying to make his stamp on the NFL that I'm going to make the pistol my offense, even though other teams run it, we're going to be in the pistol more than anybody. We're going to be under center less than anybody. It could be true to both things. Like, hey, maybe Michael Penix uncomfortable doing that. Maybe it was an injury. Maybe he wasn't all the way healthy. And they noticed him being a little different trying to play on the center. I don't know when because I didn't see it in training camp. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but I didn't notice him ever being on the center in training camp. And I mentioned in that training camp was like, hey, man, I think this is our offense, man, just in the shotgun and the pistol, you know? So, and there ain't nothing to bash Kirk about, you know what I'm saying? Kirk, the year before, got injured, knew he was injured. Falcons act like they didn't see it, but gave him all the rope he could until we were eliminated and then made the change. Now, obviously, when you let that genie out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. That's why Michael Penix started this season. That's a natural progression. And Kirk Cousins knew that. That's why he was still trying to play when he was injured. Okay. I get it, but I ain't going to forgive it. I get why he did it. I ain't going to forgive it. But this season, he's healthy now. And he's played, you know what I'm saying, up and down. But for the most part, he played good like a backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Our first year quarterback, well, second year, but first year starting, had some ups and downs. But I don't think it was solely on him. But I can't even worry about Michael Penix right now because I don't know what his recovery is going to be. And I have a feeling that Kirk Cousins is going to be back next year. Zach says, I mean, you got to agree this offense looks way more smoother. Zach game plan is way better. Well, on the Penix, we never seen this. I could have sworn we were winning at first early in the season. But then again, we had dumb mistakes and it was times that we played well, but it wasn't Penix's fault. And we still lost because the defense played bad, you know. Everything ain't in a vacuum. I will say that I feel like Kirk Cousins has more responsibility in helping devise the game plan. Because again, when Michael Penix got hurt initially before he was out for the season, and then Kirk Cousins came in the Dolphins game, we not going to act like that wasn't a horrible game. And the only time we scored is when when it looked like he dog cussed out Zach Robinson and then went out there and ran no huddle and went down the field. And then after he did that, obviously he had more leeway and say, this is how I want the game to be called. The way I called it in no huddle. Can you devise that game plan for me instead of trying to do this pistol 95% of the time crap? Can we do that? Okay, I see what you mean. And if you remember, we had this same thing going on in the first 3 games of last season with Zach Robinson. We got to remember, man, he was a rookie and a second-year guy, offensive coordinator. So Michael Penix definitely got things to learn, and he definitely has to improve. But last night, the night before, Kirk had an excellent game. But he always plays well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you know. When someone has over 1,000-yard passing yards in 3 games versus one team, yeah, I think the light comes on when he sees Tampa Bay. It's kind of tailor-made for him to win that game, in my opinion, and have a good game. 3 Dirty in the building. What up, fam? Appreciate you coming through. Hopefully you made it home safely. I know you enjoyed yourself at that game. Douglas, what's up, fam? Welcome back to the stream. I see you. Appreciate you coming through. That sounded for you. Welcome back to the stream. So Douglas is in the camp of winning hurt us because it helps Raheem. Douglas, man, I just don't think that Raheem Morris' job was in danger. We can say he was on the hot seat. They hired an independent firm to evaluate the entire team, coaches, players, front office people, whatever that means. I feel like that was a smoke screen personally. Again, I don't think Arthur Blank was going to fire him because normally when Arthur Blank fires someone, he has a preemptive interview with either, the local paper or one of the bigger sports talk radio shows. He would go talk to the fans. That has not happened. We only got 1 game left in the season. That's Sunday against the Aints at the crib in the season on a 5-game win streak. I don't even think, once we beat the Saints in New Orleans, I felt like he was going to keep his job. That man passed out so many game balls in that it was just like he was just happy. Because I feel like if we would have lost that game, I don't think Raheem would still be the coach. And this eerily has the feeling of Dan Quinn just before him and Thomas Dimitroff got fired. They go on a run at the end of the season. What they win about 4 or 5 games at the end of the season. There's false hope. And we come in and do the exact same thing that we were doing. I think we lost the first 4 or 5 games in a row. And subsequently, you're fired. So I don't know if that's gonna be the situation. But at the very least, if Matt Ryan comes into the fold and be a prominent figure in the organization, at least the decision chain could possibly start missing Rich McKay and let that be on Matt Ryan's shoulders. Now, me personally, man, I kind of get wincy when former great players of the organization get into a front office role or something like that, because I don't want to start bashing, the player that I used to root for, because he's not really that good at being a front office guy. That's one reason why I don't want Chipper to become the skipper or really anything is big in the Braves organization, stuff like that. For that reason alone. Same thing with like John Smoltz. Glad those guys never became a manager of the Braves or something like that. Let me look at some more of these. Kitty Cat said, if Raheem comes back, I better see Mike McDaniel come in as our OC. That's a dream right there, Kitty Cat. Or if the Packers lose in embarrassed fashion, I think Matt LaFleur need to be seriously considered as our new head coach. And the start of what he did with the Packers is one of the best starts in a 4 or 5 year deal. I know Magic Man will probably disagree, but since he's a Packer fan, but I just believe that guy with Michael Penix and Bijan Robinson and Drake London. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, and the only reason why I say that is because okay, Mike McDaniel, that's definitely McDaniels. That's definitely a good look. He was a part of the Super Bowl team also. So that's it. He already know the organization and stuff like that. So that really wouldn't be a hard hire because he's been in the building. Arthur Blank would be comfortable with him. Rich McKay would be comfortable with him. Raheem Morris would definitely be comfortable with him. Gearcat said we lost more games due to Penix than our defense. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can believe that. Yeah, that's true. Too many games where Michael Penix looked lost, scared, or hesitant. Indecisive, yes, we did see that. But also, I feel like the predictability of what we were doing and the nuances of knowing a playbook backwards and forwards. This is a brand new playbook that was put together, so-called for Michael Penix, but it didn't fit Michael Penix. Like it felt like he was running the offense for a player that he thinks who Michael Penix is, but he's not. Like Michael Penix isn't a runner. So putting him back there in the shotgun all the time is basically making him a statue because he's not going to run. And you see why he didn't. I mean, it wasn't even a big hit when he got hit on and he got hurt, you know? Hell, the hit that he took when they wrapped around his leg, when he stretched and got that touchdown, you know, that looked worse than that sack that he took. He ultimately, you know, got injured for the rest of the season. So, yeah. Jamal, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Do I think the Hawks going to trade Trey? Not sure, man, but they don't control any future of Trey right now. It's up to him. I think a lot of people feel like he's going to opt in, but I don't know. I have no idea. But welcome to the stream. if Matt LaFleur, what'd you say, Kitty Cat? You said Matt LaFleur is somehow available. You give him a blank check and tell him he can't leave until he's our head coach. Yeah. LaFleur with Ubrick running our defense. Yeah, I feel that too. Will LaFleur want to keep Ubrick? Will Ubrick want to stay if the Falcons fire his homie? You guys gotta remember, man. Ubrick came here because Raheem and him are close friends. Will Ubrick walk? Will he be up for his own job? How well he's done with this defense? Raheem, I don't think Raheem's getting fired. Even if we lose to the Saints, I don't think he's getting fired. Especially if we get Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan, that's his former coach. I don't feel like Matt Ryan would fire Raheem Morris. I feel like he would give him another opportunity. And also, Matt Ryan will have the ultimate security in this organization. If Matt Ryan was hired to be great Beatles, but actually have some input, I don't feel like Matt Ryan will be fired. I feel like Matt Ryan would retire from whatever job we placed upon him. Once they hire Matt Ryan will be here until he quits. He will not be fired. Not be fired. Trust and believe me. If Matt Ryan come here in any kind of capacity in the front office, he will be here for the duration. Trust. He is not leaving being the number one guy on that panel, basically being the Michael Strahan of CBS football. He will not leave that just to come here and be an assistant GM or something like that and could be flicked away like a booger. Nah. And Arthur Blank got too much respect for Matt to even do him like that. I think getting Matt Ryan here would be the easiest way to possibly getting Rich McKay to retire. You said Ubrick was alongside with LaFleur. That's true, but I don't know how close they are. I know that Ubrick and Raheem are close. Furball said these games are meaningless. Now I'm gonna actually let him say it.
Furball2 says, but these wins are meaningless. I don't get people getting into this trap again by changing their mindset over wins that were eliminated.
Yeah, and Domino and Shalini talked about that earlier today, this morning. With a team that hasn't established any kind of culture, especially a team that refuses to play in the preseason, these last few games are important because that's how you're going to continue to build chemistry, and you need to find out what you need to get in the offseason. Again, for us fans, it's easy to say these games are meaningless. You're not going to the playoffs, so what are you doing? For an NFL player, for coaches, especially for the players, you got to put on film to save your job, not only here, but for the next destination. Coaches included. Because even if you feel like you're about to be fired, don't mean that someone else won't hire you for an assistant. But if you're putting out bad tape, I don't need to take a risk on that. And especially with players. The word tanking don't exist to players. Like I think Brock Bowers, Max Crosby, and someone else got shut down for the rest of the season for the Raiders. It's just like they mad, but organization like, I can't risk y'all getting hurt. And, you know, it so happens to help us in the draft since the Giants beat them and they were tied up. Now the Giants are number 2, I think. Either number 2 or number 1, something like that. So, not Giants, but Raiders, excuse me. Raiders move up in the draft. The Giants move down in the draft. You got Giants fans saying, hey, man, we shouldn't have won that game. That pick is more important. Yeah, I mean, if you want the Indiana coach, the Indiana quarterback, Mendoza, then yeah, you want to have a higher pick. But I thought the Giants liked Jackson Dart, so who knows? Yeah, these wins. Well, me personally, I don't think that Raheem was going to get fired. The independent firm was all a smoke screen. Now you really haven't heard about the independent firm. That's why Matt Ryan popped up. These are all distractions to get you off. So when they tell you we're going to give Raheem another season, and it's going to be basically, guys, I really feel that Arthur Blank has remorse about firing Arthur Smith. Okay? I feel like he has a lot of remorse about firing Arthur Smith. And with that remorse, that's why he didn't come out early and fire Raheem Morris. That's how I feel. I ain't got no proof, but that's just the way it feels. And I think Raheem's job is safe because he gave Arthur Smith 3 years. He's gonna give Raheem 3 years. That's how I feel. I could be wrong, but I think all of that stuff was a smoke screen, personally. We had an independent, company look over the team, and what we got back is the positives outweigh the negatives. We need to get better, but we're gonna bring back Raheem for a 3rd season. Now, they may demand that Zach get fired. And the reason why they hired Matt Ryan is that Matt Ryan can make that choice. He go in and talk with Zach. What were you thinking on this? What were you thinking on this? What is your plan about improving Michael Penix once he get healthy? Did we mess up? He asked Terry, did we mess up? Terry got to stand on that. He asking Zach Robinson, do we need to draft another quarterback? These are all the things that, we assume Matt Ryan's going to come in and do when he receives whatever title he receives. Miss Pam, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. I see you. Appreciate you coming home. Guys, make sure you check out the Lady Birds. Great content. Miss Pam was in the building. Chrissy Lewis was in here yesterday giving us the update. I saw you, Miss Pam, in the chat. Thank you for coming in. The crowd looked live too. And I'm happy that the Falcons could actually win at home, Even though the season isn't what we thought it was, at least, what I'm saying, it looked like a good crowd through the TV. At the beginning of the game, it looked kind of thin, but as the game went on, it looked like a crowd was pretty thick. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you guys for showing up, even though we had a disappointing season. Shout out to the Falcon fans that was down there on a Monday night. You know, and that's another thing. That's another reason why you win. Fans don't want to come down there and see their team lose, even though they already know the season over. They still want to win. You think Miss Pam was down there and be like, oh man, why they winning this game? They should be losing. Ain't no way. And as an organization, you owe it to the fans that are season ticket holders to put your best foot forward and try to win the game. So yeah, I understand as fans, as jaded fans, talking about we the king of winning useless games, and we 12-4 in games after we eliminated. I get it. All we doing is messing up our draft position. But for a team who ain't been to the playoffs in 8 years, and you've had, 3 coaches over that span, winning is winning, you know? Beggars can't be choosy. And we take all dubs. And yeah, I'm not a season ticket holder, but I bet you every season ticket holder appreciate them winning last night. Monday night game, we the only game in town. Highlight the city. You got to have some kind of pride. I mean, we don't even own that draft pick. Hey, if anything, you made the draft pick worse for the Rams. How about that? How about we made the draft pick worse for the Rams? You know? Oh, there go Chrissy. What's up? We got 2 of the Ladybirds in the building. Appreciate you guys supporting Dixon Way. Yep. Yeah, guys, we just got to make whatever draft pick in the second round and on the best that we can. You know? And being a former season ticket holder, I understand it. Even when we had seasons that we weren't going to the playoffs, we always still wanted to see our team win. You know, we'll worry about the draft when it happens. That's the bright side of it. When you lose, like, all right, well, at least we improved our draft position. You know, but during the game, you're not really thinking about that. I don't, as a fan. I want to see my team win. You know, and where it falls, it falls. If we're not trying to, I can see if it's like a generational player in the draft and you need that certain player, then fine. The Falcons aren't going to draft a quarterback, I don't think. Maybe in the fifth, fourth round, but I'm a proponent of if you're not drafting for the guy, then don't draft any quarterback. Get other positions and get a journeyman. I just think that Kirk Cousins is going to be back, guys, even with that cap hit. If Raheem is still here, Kirk Cousins is going to be here. Plain and simple. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Morgatron Prime in the building. It's a Ladybird raid. No, they just support the channel, man, and we support the Ladybirds. They had Jagged Edge performing at halftime. That's who that was. They were showing the light show and stuff like that. But, I didn't have the TV up, so I didn't know who was on there. That's pretty cool. Meet me at the altar in your white dress. Oh, Jagged Edge. All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yep. Oh, no problem, no problem. Yeah, everybody trying to make it into this YouTube space. You know, everybody got good content. You know what I'm saying? Everybody have their own signature that they put into this Falcon community of sports fans. So yeah, yep. Um, I do feel like Raheem will be in pressure to, especially if Josh McDaniels gets fired. There will be pressure from the media, from the fans to go get Josh McDaniels to be the offensive coordinator. Now, we can debate how good Tua Tagovailoa is, but I feel like before he got injured with a concussion, McDaniel had him going, shoo. And after the concussion, he was really never the same, in my opinion. So, and you see glimpses of it, but yeah, he's been replaced. And I think I would love to see what Josh McDaniels can do. I mean, Mike McDaniels, excuse me, I said Josh. Uh, I I would love to see what Coach McDaniels can do with Michael Penix Jr. and Bijan Robinson. I mean, I see what he did with Devontae Freeman, him helping Kyle Shanahan. So yeah, I couldn't imagine seeing him whip Bijan Robinson and Michael Penix. So, but we don't know how long or how fast or how slow this recovery of Michael Penix is going to be. So that leads me to believe if Raheem is still the coach here, I believe that Kirk Cousins is still here. Even though they have a huge cap hit and it really don't make any sense for financial reasons, but I just feel like Kirk is Raheem's quarterback. And just like they said this year, we already allocated the money for the quarterback. When people ask him, why would you keep him? Why not? We don't know. He played well at the end of the season. We don't know what the situation is going to be with our future quarterback. And hey, guys, before Kirk Cousins got hurt last year, this was our plan anyway. And I want every Falcon fan to understand when they have that press conference and say that, don't be upset. Okay? Don't be upset. Yep. Yeah, Josh, that's how I meant. Yeah, thank you for the correction, Kitty Cat. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Miss Pam. No problem. Oh, hold on. Kitty Cat. Wow, I'm trying to click on your comment, but it keep like running from it. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, it moved it, but he'll make Cal consistent 1,000-yard receiver. Kyle Pitts. So do you guys think that we are going to franchise Kyle Pitts that'll be around 14 to 15 million next season? I don't think we can afford to do that if we keep Kirk Cousins. if you keep it in 100, if we keep Kirk Cousins, we can't pay Kyle Pitts. And we definitely can't pay Tyler Algier. They could also trade Kirk in the middle of the season if Michael Penix is back. Here's the thing, guys. The money is, once we make it to training camp, that money is guaranteed. You have to, I think you got to cut Kirk before the combine or something like that, before the NFL season, next season starts. Not the season, but the, when all trades and stuff like that, before the trades and stuff, free agency happen. So if that's the case, you got to make that decision. The Falcons end on a 5-game win streak, guys. End up 8-9 again. Well, no, excuse me. Yeah, 8-9. Yeah, we end up 8-9. And we will be 4-4 at home. But right now we're 3-4 on the season. Similar how they move Flacco. Yeah, but they really didn't have no sweat equity in Flacco at this moment. You know what I'm saying? They got like 5 quarterbacks on that roster. And they got Shador on there. Yeah, they're fine. They didn't have no sweat equity in Flacco, to be honest. They were just trying to grab lightning in the bottle again, and the lightning struck outside the bottle. Well, we're trying Prime kind of agree with me. Okay, MP, welcome back to the stream. I see you, fam. You think that Mike McDaniels know how to use players better than Zach? Well, yeah, I would assume that also. Yeah. As Pam says.
Pamela Johnson 6480 says, I am curious to see if Matt Ryan will be part of the front office Falcons organization and what role.
Yeah, Miss Pam, I talked about that earlier. I think he's going to be in the Greg Beatles role. We really don't know what Greg Beatles' role is officially. I mean, we know he has a title, but we really don't see him in any kind of capacity, speak with the media or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? You rarely see him. So, or even hear his name spoken. So I'm imagining, I heard people saying, oh, he'll be assistant GM. Ain't no way Matt Ryan coming back here to be no assistant GM under Terry Fontenot. No. And it better not be no ceremonial thing like Dominique Wilkins is. He's just an announcer and he's like the outreach person for the organization. But I don't think Dominique Wilkins does anything when it comes to like recruiting or hiring coaches or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? More like a figurehead. I don't want Matt Ryan to come back just to be a figurehead, a poster board, something like that. I want him to actually be involved with the organization. If that's going to be the guy between, you got Arthur Blank, you got Rich McKay, and then you got Greg Beatles, and then you got Terry Fontenot. If Matt Ryan is the through person between Rich McKay and Terry, and he just basically replaces Great Beatles, but actually in a more give more power and take some of the power away from Rich McKay and get over to Matt Ryan, I wouldn't be mad at that. Because, hey, he's a football man. He loves the Falcons. And I feel like, at the very least, he would do everything in his power to make us a better team. Yeah, before the NFL New Year starts. Yes, Morgan Prime, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, basically. Well, that contract is guaranteed. If we cut him before that, I think we get like $24 million against the natural cap, but it only hurt us about 10 to 11 towards contracts and stuff like that. So that's a huge relief that we definitely can use to fill up roster spots and fill holes that we need. Go out and get us another number 2. Or maybe we're going to draft a number 2, you know, a wide receiver, that is. I personally feel like, unfortunately, with the injury to Brandon Dorless, man, who's having an awesome second-year season after being injured and barely used in his first season. Definitely a breakout season. Definitely another feather in a Terry Fontenot feather of draft picks. Now, Brandon Trice, injury prone, never getting on there. Troy Anderson, same deal. Not getting Nate Lehman back, but Brandon Dorless getting sacks, tying the team in sacks before getting injured, and we've can thoughts and prayers with that kid on his recovery. But yeah, man, and to be honest, man, I think we totally dominate the Rams if Dorless stay in. He was wrecking so much havoc, like the combo of him and JPJ was like, looked like they were holding almost every time on those guys. So yeah, and the lack of having Jalen Walker, it's kind of good that we got. I was talking about that earlier. It's kind of good that we made that trade with the Rams. We got JPJ and Xavier Watt. You know, so yeah. So yeah, whatever our second round pick is, how it is, that's fine. I definitely want to beat the Saints. You never want to not beat the Saints. I don't care if it's meaningless game. Beat the Aints. Always. Always and forever. All right, let me look at some of this chat. And we about to get off soon. Chrissy, great question.
Christy Lewis 3411 says, what is the purpose of doing team-based operations evaluations if you're going to do what you want to do anyway?
That was a smoke screen, Chrissy. I talked about this earlier, briefly, but it was just a smoke screen in my opinion. It was just a smoke screen to basically give an excuse like our independent firm has gathered all the data and led us believe that Raheem has earned a third season. But now, as an organization, we have pivoted to Matt Ryan possibly being hired. And that'll be the other distraction. It'll say, hey, we're going to give it up to Matt Ryan to see, and he will judge and see if we bring back Raheem, if we make sweeping changes, or if we run this back. And Matt is fond of Raheem. I don't know anything, but I feel like Matt wouldn't fire Raheem. Maybe he might press. Maybe he may be the one to be able to press Raheem to let go of Zach, to go get a Josh McDaniels, or if Matt LaFleur becomes available, then possibly broker that and then shake Raheem's hand and be like, hey, I'm sorry, brother, but I got to go ahead and I can't offer him a offensive coordinator job. He's head coach material. His record reflects that he's one of the best young coaches in the league. I'm sorry I have to make this move. You know? So those are type of things, among other things, that he'll probably, he'll be doing things that probably what Rich McKay is supposed to do, but never passes off, because that's how Rich McKay keeps his job. He let Mr. Blank make the coach's decision, so guess what? He's never at fault. If I got to hire the coach and the GM and that stuff is failing and we have not been in the playoffs for 10 straight years or 8 straight years, and guess what? Guess who's the constant? Rich McKay, but he doesn't make that decision. So that's never on him. So you never really have to take the responsibility of hire the wrong GM, hire the wrong coach, because you didn't take that. Mr. Blank does that. Kind of sweet hustle, right? Kind of sweet hustle, right? You think we need a Vita Vea type dude? Yeah, I think so too, but it just depends on what Coach Ubrick wants. Ms. Pam said, I hate that it happened to Dorless. He was definitely upset about what happened. Yeah. I felt real bad for the kid. He was crying during Miriam, Michelle, Velasquez. Welcome to the Dixon Way family. Get on that train. Shout out all the boys. Appreciate you. Appreciate that sub. Yeah. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Unfortunately, he got hurt in the second to the last game of the season, so we don't know what his recovery going to be, but speedy recovery for the young man. And yeah, this Falcon fan base will be thinking about him. Definitely hate to see that. Now, that's the type of thing that you look back and be like, okay, we got a key player, a player that was stepping up, a player that was showing promise, getting hurt in so-called meaningless games. I can understand when you say that, okay? I can understand when you say that. But yeah, for the most part, players and coaches don't ever look at games as meaningless games. Only fans. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to put good film out there, whether they're going to stay with the organization or if they're going to move on. Players get cut, coaches get fired. But if you want to be rehired, you got to go out there and be a professional each and every game. Because just because you get fired as a head coach here, look at Arthur Smith. Quickly get an offensive coordinator job. Because the way you act during the games, whether they so-called mean something or not, still got to go out there and be a professional. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's not a weak take, you know what I'm saying, but a lazy take. You know what I'm saying? It's low hanging fruit take. It's the candy cane on the lowest part of the tree where the kid can grab it. You know what I'm saying? That type of candy cane. So yeah, real easy to point to, but in actuality, man, football players, football teams ain't wired like that. To just be like, tank it. Like some are. Raiders want to lose. They sat down all three of their best players. But again, they're in a desperate need to try to find a franchise quarterback. That's why you do things like that. If you're a team that if you're a team that has talent, then you don't have to go to desperate measures. And no, I don't think there's a lot of talk about in the media talking about should the NFL go to a draft lottery. There's already a lot of lack of trust of things that's league made and league control. This is rigged, that rigged. You don't want to get to a lottery situation. Now, I see why the NBA does it, because one player can change the franchise of a team dramatically. So teams tanking for a certain player in basketball is very detrimental to the product. But that really is not a thing with football, you know. So yeah, I think they need to keep it the same in football, you know. But yeah, guys, we've been on for an hour and a half. I want to thank all you guys for coming in. Our next stream is tomorrow at 3:00. Yeah. And then we will have the game on Thursday for the Georgia Bulldogs versus we won't have the Georgia Bulldog basketball game though. As originally we were gonna have that and the Georgia football game, but we'll be traveling out of town for my aunt's funeral, and we'll only be able to, hopefully we'll be able to get in town enough, have enough rest, and do the game, the football game later on, college football game later on. Georgia plays Auburn on the basketball team, so we're gonna have like a Georgia Bulldog double hitter, but not now. And we will not have the Saints versus the Falcons, as that will be our travel day back, coming back home. So yeah. Thank you, Miss Pam. Thank you. I'll tell Shonda you said hello. And thank you for the condolences. We will not have the final game of the season. So last night was our season finale for the Atlanta Falcons. We will have a season finale Falcon in review of the season. That'll probably be on Tuesday, unless it's like breaking news that Raheem has been fired, and then all heck will break loose. But I don't anticipate that, guys. I think Raheem Morris will be retained. I think special teams coach will be fired. It remains to be seen if Zach is still here. But if Zach is here, it gives more credence to Kirk Cousins still being here also. Now, Kirk could be moved in the offseason, but it really don't make any sense to try for people to pick up his contract. They would rather just wait and see if the Falcons release him. But if Raheem is a coach of this team, I feel like Kirk Cousins will be back. And all they're going to say is just like they said last year. The money was allocated for this quarterback to be here for this amount of years. So we have no problem with him being on the roster. When Michael Penix was a starter coming into the season, so all they're going to say is the money was already allocated. Kirk Cousins is our quarterback. There we go. So get ready for it, guys. But thank all of you guys for coming through. Falcons win against a playoff team, 27-24. I think the defense really changed when Brandon Dorlus got hurt. They started to be able to block us better because Dorlus and JPJ was wreaking havoc. It does give me pause about Jalen Walker availability. He's been out for half the season, at least half the season. So yeah, even with that, his production has been great. But yeah, we need to see more. Hopefully, I mean, really and truthfully, just shut it down. And hopefully he has a great rehab in the off season and come back stronger. That'll be one player that I won't mind not playing in the preseason. With all his little knick-knack injuries, we need to worry about him playing in the regular season, plain and simple. But next year, I need Raheem to lift that not playing in the preseason, especially if Michael Penix is back, able to play preseason. He needs to be playing under center as soon as he comes in. Any preseason game, he needs to play heavy under center because we got Falcon fans debating if he can even do it. So, all right, guys, you guys have a blessed rest of your evening and the week. We will see you for the Atlanta Hawks game on Wednesday. We'll see you for the Georgia Bulldogs for the Sugar Bowl. Yeah. And then we'll possibly see you guys Monday for the Falcons in Review season ending show. So yeah. All right, guys. As always, peace up, A-Town down. Deuces. Rise up, go Falcons.